Deep in the forest of Albion lay the small town of Oakvale, unchanged by time and untouched by the sword. Here lived a boy and his family, a boy dreaming of greatness, of one day being a hero. Sometimes he imagined himself as a noble knight or a powerful wizard. And other times he dreamt he'd be an evil warrior. But in all his dreams of greatness, he could not possibly imagine the power of the destiny that lay before him.
Plot twist, Fable 1, 2, and 3 is just this kid daydreaming all day. What if every fucking Fable game ended the way this one begins? It's like you beat Fable 2 and it's like, daydreaming again, aren't you? Anyways though, what's up guys? We are playing some Fable the Lost Chapters. We're starting a new series here. So kind of similar to all those Fable retrospective videos that are just so damn popular these days. I kind of want to do something along those lines, but make it into like a full series. Now, essentially, the goal of this series is to kind of experience Fable the Lost Chapters in its whole, in its entirety, and just kind of like the way it's supposed to be experienced. So this video is going to be largely focused on like basically the true Fable experience and how it holds up today, not just compared to like modern gaming, but like how does it hold up compared to Fable 2, Fable 3? Is it really as good as we remember it being, or is it just nostalgia goggles kind of holding us back, putting on some blinders, right? So basically, I just want to get to the bottom of whether or not this game is actually worth playing anymore in the year 2022 and onward, and how good it really actually is. First things first, I mean, we're right here, so we got to do this, right? I mean, free money is free money, right? Now, obviously, in like Fable 2 and 3, you definitely had, you know, good and bad behaviors and shit, right? But they didn't quite have the same like good and evil system that was available in the first game, which I think really was like a part of kind of the whole personality of this game, was like the entire alignment system. It really is like almost the foundation of this game and how you play it. I mean, it's so foundational that they like literally immediately introduce you to the mechanic of good and evil. Like quite literally the first thing you do in this game is decide between right and wrong. So it's obviously an extremely important part of this game, right? But also like the ability to like more or less do both. Like you can do the bad thing and then like also do the good thing, you know? Like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. One thing that I do oh, she's running. She's like, fuck this shit. Does she have anything to say now? You little swine. See, now the control scheme is something I definitely missed about this game. I kind of feel like I need to turn the volume down a little bit more. So like being able to run like whenever you want is such a fucking crucial thing that I've missed playing Fable 3 the last couple playthroughs, right? Like holy shit, that game has such a terrible run system. It's like you tap shift and it puts you into run mode, but run mode can be interrupted by pretty much anything in the game. So it's like basically you have no control over when and how you run. Plus just like overall, I feel like the first Fable definitely has like the best intro of any of the Fable games. Like Fable 2 actually did have a half decent intro, I have to give it that. The intro to Fable 2 is definitely better than the intro to Fable 3, that is for damn sure. But it doesn't quite have like the same like magic to it that Fable 1 has. Like even though you still start out as a kid in Fable 2, like the first Fable, like it's got like a whole different feel to it, you know what I mean?
I've got to, you know, answer
the call of nature. What I don't understand is like this guy has his own farm and he doesn't answer his call to nature like here.
My cousin says that
Dude, I'm already one step ahead of you, little fucking dork. You made a bad deed. Breaking barrels. Boom, bitch. Good deeds. Call me Mr. Deeds up in this bitch. Oh shit, get in here. Get in here.
Excellent, thanks, lad. I'll let you dad.
Excellent, thanks for breaking all my barrels, lad. Plus, like, the guards in this game actually fucking care. I feel like the guards in, like, the other Fable games, like, fucking literally barely care if you do anything bad. Oh, and then there's the obvious point of, like, there's a fucking mini-map in this game. Like, that's pretty damn nice, you gotta admit. Definitely, like, my least favorite part about Fable. I can't remember if Fable 2 had a mini-map or not, but Fable 3 not having a minimap is so fucking disgustingly atrocious, it's not even fucking funny. Like, you can't have both. Like, at least, somehow Fable 2 gives you the opposite both. They're like, not only do you get a linear world that's impossible to get lost in, but you also get a minimap. Fucking Fable 3 is like, yo, we made the world so confusing you can't even, like, find your way if you tried. But what we're gonna do is not even give you a fucking mini-map, so you have zero help. Oh, and that gold trail, it only barely works. And even when it does work, there's so many fucking enemies on screen, you can't even use it. It's fucking bullshit, it really is.
Hello, lad. Some little girl.
Hello, lad. Oh, yeah, and then there's, like, the shops.
Young sir, they are...
Like, everything I liked about the fucking gameplay of Fable 3, it was, like, overshadowed by, like, oh, welcome to the sanctuary. And then, like, oh, here, you want to buy something from this store? What if I told you that our stores were made as fucking stupid as humanly possible? Like, the fact that you have to, like, stand there and, like, cycle through items on the podium and shit. It's like, can I just enter a fucking, like, menu screen already? Like, holy fuck. Believe it or not, players love menu screens. Like, they are an easy break from the game. Like, nobody wanted the sanctuary. They want a fucking menu screen where they can see everything. But I feel like the villain in this game, or I guess the villains in this game, feel a lot more villainous than in Fable 2 and 3. I feel like the plot lines in Fable 2 and 3 just kind of largely had me a little bit confused. It's like, oh, there's this unexplained evil thing. Ooh, it's the darkness. And that's Fable 3 at least, but like, Fable 2 was like, at least you did have like a bad guy or whatever. But even still, it kind of felt like, what is this guy's like pejorative? Like, I'm kind of confused here. Plus, like, this game just feels like way more animated, you know? Obviously, all the games are animated, but like, the cutscenes in this game just hit a different kind of hard. They really do.
Bandits wielding torches and steel, slaying and burning.
They're like the perfect amount of like whimsical and cartoonish, but also like storytellish, you know what I mean? Like I guess the main difference is that like cutscenes in this game are like story cutscenes, and cutscenes in Fable 2 and 3 are basically just dialogue cutscenes. Like, it's, oh, we're going to explain the plot to you. This is what's happening. And then Fable, the original Fable, it's like, oh, the whole village is dying. Oh, this bandit kills this guy. He's hiding. Oh, he's surprised. He just killed that person. Like, the fucking cutscenes in Fable 2 and 3 are so fucking lackluster by comparison. Like, the best you get maybe is like the fucking little mini pirate ship battle in Fable 3 when the fucking boat comes up along, fucking shoots him out of the water. Like, that's about as close as you get to like a meaningful cutscene in Fable 3. The rest are all just like, this is dialogue. We are explaining everything to the player as if it was just written down. Like, in the original Fable, they didn't really need, like, I mean, I guess they kind of did have those, like, more, like, narration cutscenes, right? But, like, again, that feels more like a storybook. It feels more like storytelling than, like, an NPC just sitting there and, like, more or less explaining some shit to you. But, like, when it came to, like, the actual cutscenes, it was like, you weren't sitting there listening to some dude explain it to you. The story was explaining itself. Like, the story speaks for itself in this game. That is like the big difference between the first Fable and the other two Fables, is that in the first Fable, the story speaks for its fucking self. In the other two games, they need like cutscenes and like NPC dialogue to help you out with the story. And I think that's a pretty big difference. And it's, yeah, I think it really just shows in like the overall gameplay of all the Fable games is that, like, you know, Fable, the Lost Chapters / the original Fable just kind of feels more like story driven. Whereas the other ones are just like straight up dialogue driven, it seems. I don't know. If we are being fair though, I did only give Fable 2 like one playthrough also, so like, you know, I'm not like as used to Fable 2 as I'm used to like, even like Fable 3 I played twice, but like, you know, I've been playing this game since it came out and been playing it almost non-stop. Like, I've definitely done dozens of playthroughs by now.
We must leave. It's not safe here.
It's like the story just feels so like story-ish. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like describe it really, but like, I don't know. It overall like creates the desired effect more than I think Fable 2 or 3 did. I have to admit, like, Fable 2 and 3 have like their nice like bouts of like whimsical British comedy, which I definitely enjoy and appreciate, that's for sure. But, you know, I kind of wish their stories were like a little bit more than just whimsical British comedy and like dialogue. Oh, and then there's the music. Like, shit's fucking really good music. Not that like Fable 2 or Fable 3 has like inherently bad music, but the music from the first Fable is just so fucking good. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so good that they put it in Fable 3. They were like, yeah, we gotta throw some of this Fable music in there because it's just that fucking good. And you notice it immediately, you're like, oh, the music just got good. I mean, this is like top-notch music soundtrack for a fucking video game. Like, are you kidding me? Especially when you consider like this is the first game they made, like not Lionhead Studios, I don't think, but like as for like the first Fable game goes, like you come out with a soundtrack like this? Holy shit, bro. Like that's a good soundtrack for a fucking first off fucking title. Like what? Like I don't even think the Elder Scrolls music got good until Morrowind. I don't know if Arena and Daggerfall had music. I kind of forget, but I mean it took Bethesda like 3 fucking or you know, I guess they had fucking Redguard and maybe even another one, but it took them like what 4, 5 Elder Scrolls games before they were like, all right, we got this music thing, bro. It kind of appears like you guys don't really see that on the recording, but like I'm getting all sorts of light flicker here. As long as you guys don't see it though, I guess that's cool.
It's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up.
You must be my roommate.
She's so fucking tall. Like how old is she? Although that is right, they do give you like somebody to just hate right off the fucking bat in this game. Oh, that's right. In retrospect, the first Fable's fucking racist. They're like, here's the only black character in the game. You're gonna hate them right away. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not the only black character. There's 2 black characters in the game, and you hate them both right away. It's like, no. There's more than one black person. The one black person in the game has a sibling. Like, oh, okay. So there's one black family in the game. Okay. Like, how ridiculous. Plus, just like, I don't know. It's like, I have no clue why they didn't include, like, the guild, or if not the guild, then like some form of a guild or the guild in Fable 2 or 3. I'm like kind of spacing out on Fable 2. I kind of feel like they might have had like some weird half-assed like what they had the chamber, right? Not the Chamber of Secrets, the whatever you call it, chamber of Fate. That's the one. Like I do think they had the Chamber of Fate in Fable 2, but they didn't like actually have like the guild. You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like they should have. Like why not? Like was it really that important to your storytelling to be like the guild is no more? Like, no, you just ruined, like, half of what made the game the game. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, I feel like they specifically removed everything that had to do with the original Fable and just tried to make a whole completely different fucking game. They're like, yeah, we're gonna keep some of the, like, lore and the character arcs and stuff, like, the same. Like, we're gonna keep Teresa in there for some fucking god-awful reason. But everything else that made Fable Fable, let's fucking get rid of that, right? Plus, I don't think the other 2 games had any sort of, like, real training segments. I mean, they sort of, like, vaguely introduced combat to you, I guess, but, like, I kind of like the idea of, like, you know, not knowing you're a hero and then training to be one, you know what I mean? I guess in the other games, too, you kind of don't realize that you're a hero, and then you just kind of randomly find out that you're a hero. But that's, like, after you've already learned how to, like, fight and shit. It's kind of like, well, okay, I don't get it. But, like, I really like just the overall story arc of, like, you start out as a kid, you find out you're some chosen one, and you have to go through intense training. Like, it's, I don't know. It's the hero's journey, and it seems like they got rid of the entire hero's journey from the other Fable games. Oh yeah, and then there's the fact that Fable 2 wasn't even on the fucking PC, which kind of sucks. Like, I know this is like retrospective, it's not about like consoles versus PCs, but like, it is unequivocally better to play these games on the PC than it is on the Xbox. I mean, any game where you have to aim anything, like you might as well use a keyboard and mouse, right? Like if there's bows, if there's guns, if there's an aiming reticle, like you probably want to use a keyboard and mouse. Like it doesn't matter how good you are with a controller, if you would just fucking sit the fuck down and use a keyboard and mouse for one time in your fucking life, you would find that it is unequivocally better to just point at the thing and click it. Like if you ever clicked a link, like you're like browsing the web, you know, like people do in this century, and you're like, oh, there's a link, I want to click that link, or oh, I want to click that YouTube video. Okay, imagine that YouTube video is somebody's head in a video game, and you click that YouTube video, boom, headshot, right? It's that fucking easy. Now, I'm sure if you're such a fucking console fanboy, you're probably a console fucking fanboy enough to realize that like you can browse the web on a console too. So like, I'm sure you've tried to browse the web with a fucking controller, and it sucks fucking dog shit, right? Sitting there like, oh, I gotta move the joystick to that link and then tap A. Oh, now I gotta type in I gotta type something into the search bar. Let me move the joystick up to the search bar and hit A. And now I gotta move the joystick down to the one letter, hit A. Gotta move the joystick to the other. It sucks dick. You can't sit here and tell me that it's easier or better to do anything with the fucking controller that requires precision. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's cool that you're used to it and you've built some sort of muscle memory to it and you are like slightly more skilled at it than your average user, but that doesn't change the fact that this is better. Trust me, I've done both. I've done it all. Like, this is better. I use this because it's better. It's not that I can't use a controller, it's just that this gives me so many advantages playing most games that I choose this. Not only that, but you see this? See the fart icon and the burp icon Yeah, if you're on the Xbox, I think you either get 3 of them or you get 4 of them. You get your D-pad buttons, and I think the bottom D-pad is actually it's taken up by the guild seal. So you press the down on the D-pad, I believe, to use your guild seal, and then the other 3 you get are your other, you know, D-pad selectors. So you don't even get the like 1, 2, 3, 4 hotkey shit. You get the like the F1, F2, F3 hotkey shit basically above your guild seal, and that's all you get. So like, you know, in retrospect, you should probably play this game on the fucking PC if you haven't yet. And also, that's like one of the reasons why it's so much better than Fable 2. Oh, by the way, you don't actually have to use your stick here.
Use your stick.
Not only that, but like check this out. So, that swing's pretty fast actually. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and this is like 1, 2, 3. You know, maybe it is about the same speed actually. But the point being that you don't actually need to use your stick. I am actually like pretty sure that it's faster than the stick. I don't know if the follow-up attacks are as fast, or like faster rather. I think the follow-up attacks might technically be the same speed as the stick, but I think the initial swing is faster if I remember correctly. Like that feels pretty sluggish. That kind of feels immediate, right? If you actually connect your blow. Yeah, let's see again.
Use your stick.
But it is worth mentioning that even though he's like, use your stick, you don't have to. You really don't. It's a one-hit kill if you use your fists too. Now, of course, probably the best part, I don't know about the best part about Fable, but one of the things that definitely puts Fable, the Lost Chapters / the original Fable above the rest is the whole weapon system in general. Like, the weapons in Fable 2 and 3 just don't really do it for me. Not just the fact that, like, they did guns instead of bows, which is atrocious, but, like, I don't know, when it comes to, like, the swords and stuff like that, it's just, like, I don't know, they're just not as, like, cool. I mean, they're definitely more realistic, that's for sure. I mean, they're going for, like, obviously, like, a much more, like, you know, real-life sword design. They're skinnier, narrower, and that type of shit. They actually look like a real sword. But, like, you know, we're playing a fucking fantasy game, and I want to play with my fantasy swords. So, like, give me some shit that actually looks cool. Not only that, but, like, the damages and enchantments and shit just seems so fucking arbitrary in Fable 2 and 3. It's like, I don't know.
Blocking my attacks.
It all seemed to make... Oh, I'm blocking. Whoops. It all just seemed to make a lot more sense. In the first Fable, it's like, okay, your weapon does this much damage. It's either this type of weapon or it's that type of weapon. It's either a heavy weapon or it's not a heavy weapon. So it either attacks this fast or it attacks this fast, right? And then it does whatever damage it does. And then it has whatever augment slots it has, and you can augment them. Actually, you know, Fable 2 did have an augment system, if I remember correctly. So Fable 2 was actually a little bit more true to Fable than Fable 3 was, if we're being fair.
Thinks the boy has great potential.
Enough to keep up with my whisper.
So it's like, okay, here's the second black character we introduce you to. He's gonna be a complete fucking asshole to you.
It's all wrong, Whisper. You need to practice more. You need to fight the male patriarchy, Whisper.
You want to go there yourself one day.
And they had to give him a fucking gigantic mouth too. Yeah, like when it comes to both like the normal weapons and like your silver key chest weapons, that sort of thing, like the weapons in this game are just so much like, they're so much cooler, and they just like, they kind of like fit the atmosphere better. It's not like the fucking weapons in Fable 2 and 3 don't fit the atmosphere. It's just like, they don't add anything to it, that's for sure. Like, it's just, they're just kind of fucking there, and you just kind of like fucking use them. I feel like in the first Fable, like, you could make a favorite weapon out of almost any weapon, and like, I don't know, you could use it just because you like it. Like, not even because it's like a strong weapon. You're just like, I really like the way this weapon looks. I like the way it fucking goes with like my character style or whatever. And like, I don't know. I feel like the Fable 2 and Fable 3 didn't quite have that, at least not as much. And then yeah, like bows. Like apparently bows just stopped fucking existing. Like what do you actually mean, bro? That doesn't make sense. Like add guns, okay, but like why get rid of bows and crossbows? I just don't understand. There might have been crossbows in Fable 2. Again, I can't remember. I only really played it once and it was a while ago now. But like, why not have bows? Like, okay, you have guns, okay. But why not bows, right? Like, oh, we're still doing this, that's right. Like, I can't really think of a reason why they didn't have bows other than the fact that, like, they would have had to make them, like, weirdly too powerful or something. Because it would have been like, how do we make these things competitive against guns, basically? Which is like, how do you make a bow competitive against a gun? Like, once you put guns in the game, it's pretty hard to put bows in the game without them becoming just useless because there's guns, right? Like, you pretty much just have to use them because you want to use them at that point, right? I don't know. Just something about Fable 2 and 3 doesn't really feel fair to the people that played the first Fable. Because they're like, okay, cool. We're playing this nice medieval RPG, swords, bows, axes, dragons, and shit. Like, and then you get to Fable 2, and they're like, no, 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 no. It's like the Industrial Revolution, bro. That's what you wanted, right? Right? Like you wanted factories, and you wanted muskets, right? You wanted like the American Revolution, basically. Like, no, what the fuck, dude? I want Fable. You know that game that we played like a few years ago? Like that one. Like, what are you doing? Oh shit. Don't even get me started on the fucking will system. God. Oh, we'll go deep into the fucking differences of the will system, that's for sure. But like, goddamn, what were they thinking with the will system? And honestly, both games. Like, Fable 3 was like, it wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't as bad as Fable 2 in my opinion. They both kind of have like that system of like, oh, you gotta hold your spell to charge it up for the next level. Now, for some reason, it was like different in Fable 3. It was like, it wasn't like you were like charging it up to get a stronger spell. It's like you're charging it up to get like more people attacked, basically. I mean, I guess it does kind of charge up and get stronger, but like, it's not quite as necessary because of like, I don't know, I guess all of the spells in Fable 3 are attack spells, more or less. You don't really have like utility spells. Like, you don't really have like slow time or like heal life or physical shield or anything like that. But in Fable 2 you did. So like in Fable 2 you had slow time, and if you had level 5 slow time, like if you decided to spend skill points on your slow time skill enough times to get it to level 5, well, guess what? You can't just like simply cast a level 5 slow time. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds to charge up your level 5 slow time. So it's basically fucking useless in any situation that you would want to use it, because you're constantly being attacked by it. Like, how are you going to cast slow time when it takes 15 seconds to cast it and there's 20 enemies around you constantly attacking you? The answer is you literally can't. You have to cast the first level of slow time, which literally lasts like 1 or 2 seconds. Like, you cast it, it's like, it's like literally that fucking fast. So you have to cast the first one, which barely gives you enough time to cast the second one. So you have to, and you gotta, and then you can cast it a third time, get that third level going. And then maybe after the third time, you might have time to cast the fifth one, but you'll probably have to cast the fourth one and then cast the fifth one. And then now that you've casted the fifth one, after like a whole minute and a half of casting 5 different spells, you are now able to use other spells thanks to the fact that you have slow time, right? It's just fucking stupid. It's like, what is the point of giving you different levels of spells if you're not going to let people just fucking use them, right? Like, you might as well just give people level 5 spells right off the fucking bat. And the only caveat is that you have to charge it up, right? Like, what is the actual point of making somebody spend fucking experience points on a stronger version of a spell if you literally can't use it? Like, when you upgrade your weapon, or you upgrade your fucking, your swinging speed, or your arm strength so that you do more damage, like, you don't have to, like, charge up your arm, like, level 2 strength, level 3 strength, level 4 strength, 5, right? Like, no. It's like, okay, you have level 5 strength, you just do level 5 strength damage with your sword, right? So why is it any fucking different for fucking spells in that game? It's like, oh, you have level 5 strength spell, but you have to charge up all 5 levels. You don't just get to use level 5 strength spell. But if you're a warrior and you have level 5 strength weapon, you don't have to charge fucking shit, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. So basically the game just kind of like forces you into using melee combat the whole game, which, like, you know, whatever. I do kind of like my my melee combat games. You know, I tend to enjoy my sword and my shield and my armor type of shit, right? Not that there's anything wrong with magic or archery. It's just like I tend to, for some reason, prefer melee builds when it comes to like pretty much any RPG, right? So like I don't really have a problem only using melee the whole time, but like Fable 2 literally like forced you to use melee the whole time because everything else was just so fucking useless. Like, the guns are too weak and take too long to reload. The spells are basically useless because you can't just simply use your highest level spell. But the weapons, on the other hand, if you want to use your sword, by all means, as long as you're strong, dude. Plus, I just feel like the other Fables didn't really have characters like the first Fable had, you know what I mean? Like, the first Fable had some fucking characters in it, you know what I mean? Like, everybody in the other Fables just seemed like very generic. Like, they're characters, I guess, but like, it's like a character, like you went to a fucking concert and there's a crowd of people, like, there's a character, there's a character, there's a character, like, yeah, it's a crowd of people, I guess. Like, this game has characters, bro. Like, where's Meares in Fable 2? Where's Meares in Fable 3? Even when it comes to like the antagonist, like where's your Jack of Blades type character in Fable 2 or in Fable 3? Like sure you have like a evil villain, but it's like nowhere near the evil villain stature of Jack of Blades, right? It's like I feel like they set themselves up so highly for success. Like they created such an epic game, such an epic setting, epic background, epic everything. And they decided to take literally nothing of inspiration from this game when they created the later games. It's mind fucking boggling. It really is. Well, I know, it kind of looks like it's picking up the flicker for sure.
For many years now, you have worked hard to earn yourselves the title of hero. Today, that apprenticeship ends and you
Not quite as bad as I'm getting it on my screen, but it's definitely picking up something. I wonder if that's just the refresh rate, honestly. I have it set to 100 refresh rate, which is fucking stupid because I have 120 on this monitor, so it's like, what am I doing, right? How much you want to bet that if I change that to 60 hertz, it's going to fix it? It's like, this feels like a cutscene. The other ones don't. Like Fable 2 and Fable 3, it's like, oh, here's the plan. I'm explaining it to you. Here's a couple funny British jokes. Are you sure you don't want me to touch your titties, Paige? No? Okay. Maybe I can watch you change. Like... Okay. It's like stand-up comedy joke hour every time there's a cutscene in Fable 3. It's like, no, can I get some like storytelling, dude? Like, goddamn. I might as well do Guile. Make some fucking money, honey. There's little else for me to teach you.
There is little else for me to teach you. But now there's a whole world for you to explore.
A whole new world for you to explore. Successfully completing your training and graduated as a hero. In a wee apple pie.
A cerebral side in this white bubble be away.
Anyways, though, I guess that's a good enough place to end this video, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It definitely helps me out. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you want to check out any more of this content or any of my other gaming content for that matter. And of course, as always, for as little as 99 cents a month, you can become a channel member, help support this channel monetarily, help me pay some bills around here, that sort of thing. But yeah, with that being said, it's been Plock the Master Gamer with some Fable the Lost Chapters, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.